Robert Estrin here at livingpianos.com with the 3 most important practice techniques. Now actually there are hundreds of practice techniques, and the things I'm going to tell you today are just quintessentially important. They're points that I keep making again and again because they need to be cemented in your mind if you want to be productive in your practice. So what are they? What are these 3 techniques? Well, I'm going to save the last one is the most important one. So listen to all these 3 because they're all really vitally important to take your piano playing to the next level. For one thing, if you're learning a piece, if you're practicing, sometimes you sit down, you play, maybe you don't even have the score and you're just kind of practicing without the music, and you come to a part you can't quite play, so you start right there, so you go back and you pass the point. So then, of course, you get the score, and what you really should have the score in front of you when you're practicing to reference. Not that you play all the time with the music. You might want to test your memory to see how things are coming along. But here's the critical thing. When something does go wrong, resist the temptation to just go back and start again. I know it will probably come out well the next time around, but take the opportunity to check the score. Find your place, no matter how painstaking it is. And you may be thinking, hey, I could just start back 4 measures and I know I can start there. Why don't I just start there? Because it'll take me longer to be able to even find where I am in the music. Yeah, it'll take you longer. But why is that so important? Because whatever needs to be clarified, you're not going to be able to gain from the experience. All you've done is missed something and then hope that next time you don't, and maybe you will get it, maybe you won't, but you haven't really figured out what the issue is, what the solution to that weakness is. So always refer to the score when there's a weakness, when there's a mistake. Find it and study the score. Don't just go, oh, I'll start there. Look at it. Really analyze it. You may discover, oh my gosh, this is the first chord of the piece that repeats. Of course it is. And you'll never forget it again because it'll finally make sense once you look what the music is. And whatever confusion you had, you can clarify it once and for all. Okay, so what's the next thing? Now this one is so important, and I think anyone who's accomplished on the piano knows about the importance of slowing down. You must slow down and practice slowly, incessantly. Eventually, you can get the same level of comfort and security at a faster tempo. But until you do, playing over and over again just a little bit past your comfort zone just breeds insecurity in your playing. Now, which isn't to say that you don't want to try things faster just to see what they sound like and to isolate the weak parts, because that is very valuable in saving time to zero in on the parts that need the work. But fundamentally, a great deal of practice is slow playing with the score, reinforcing the memory, always looking at the score carefully in any place that you're not sure of. So even when, you can go back and forth, this goes hand in hand, the slow playing along with referencing the score. Really, one of the staples of piano practice is reading slowly with the music, with the metronome, without the pedal, to cement the performance and really have clarity of thought and clarity of physiology of what you're doing at the keyboard. And I said the last one was really important, and it is. And I'm going to call it a practice technique, but really it's expand your repertoire. Now, this is vital because no matter how long you play, just going through review pieces all the time, eventually you're going to plateau in your playing. There is vast amounts of piano music, and even some of the pianists of all time who learn more music than anyone else, it's astounding amounts of music that people like Alfred Brendel and Claudio Arrau and others have amassed that is mind-boggling, and yet it's only scratching the surface. There's so much great music written for the piano by composers you've heard of and composers you haven't heard of. So expanding your repertoire, now what do I mean by that? I mean, on a daily basis, you really need to be learning something new every day. Now, you may be bogged down with trying to perfect what you've already learned, and that is certainly an essential part of your practice. But take advantage at least a few minutes just to learn something new each day, because you'll have so much more to show for it. And here's why. If you want to learn a new piece and you say, okay, I'm going to wait till I have these pieces really solid, even if it takes me weeks or months, then I'm going to start a new piece. And then all you're doing is studying a new piece. You know how hard it is to memorize music, to learn something new? There's only so much you can do at a time before it gets really hard. You get to that point of diminishing returns in how much you can learn per 10-minute or 20-minute period. But if you were to go and do some work each day, when your mind is fresh, you take advantage of that time. Even if it's only 10 minutes or 20 minutes a day, it's time that your mind is fresh and you can really learn something relatively easily if you're only learning a phrase or two. So these are the three things. Remember, always have your score handy. When something falters, reference the score and don't just start there, but study it. Figure out what's going on. Clarify in your mind and your hands what the correction is. Slow down. You should be practicing slowly, incessantly. Even pieces you can play up to speed. From time to time, you must go back and re-cement the notes and the fingers and the phrasing, the expression, all of it. By referencing the score, playing slowly without the pedal, use the metronome as much as possible or as much as that works for the music you're playing. And lastly, be sure to expand your repertoire and do this on a daily basis. You'll have so much more to show for your work over time if you use these three techniques. I hope this is helpful for you. Once again, Robert Estrin. This is your ultimate piano resource. And all you subscribers or new subscribers, we really appreciate it. Patreon users get special treatment, so consider joining my Patreon. Ring the bell and a thumbs up if you like the video, and we'll see you next time.